Welcome to WHU Inside Business. I'm here with Franz-Joseph Miller, who is the CEO of Time Matters. Franz-Joseph, does time matter?
Absolutely, more and more so. I mean, we started the company 15 years ago, and it was a pure emergency business, a lot of documents. And in the past 15 years, we've had enormous growth because supply chains get faster and people want stuff faster.
Okay. Why is that? Why do I have to have a book in the same day or something to eat within the same day?
First, Time Matters is today purely a B2B provider. Okay. So our customers are only large industry players. And what we see is that as companies have more and more products which are developed faster, so cycle times shorten, supply chains get more and more international, and disruptions happen more often. And that's really the business Time Matters is in. So, and we like to say that every now and then, that we're in the business of fuck-up management. When things go wrong, time is really important. And that's really the business we're in. We've built a platform, a global platform, that connects more than 600 partners worldwide, making it possible for us to deliver parts around the world within a matter of hours rather than days.
Okay. Why can't the traditional courier service not do that at a quality level that you can offer?
Right. The difference between Time Matters and the large courier companies is that the large, or we call them integrators, operate hub and spoke systems. So they have very standardized pickup tours, then they have a first hub, then they have a second hub, especially when it goes international, they have various hubs, and then they have a delivery tour. In the case of Time Matters, that doesn't help you because even if it takes 3 days or 1 day to get, let's say, 3 days from Asia to Europe or 1 day within Europe, and customers work with us, they really need it within hours. So what we do is we've also built a network. It's fully IT based. It's really in technology and service platform that we operate, but it organizes point-to-point transportation. So we pick up a part, let's say in Barcelona, and then it seamlessly gets transported to Frankfurt and delivered. But it doesn't get consolidated with any other parts. And that's the main difference. And the big players have a hard time taking individual things in and out of their standardized flows, and that's our business.
Okay. Without consolidation, how do you keep the costs under control?
Well, what we've done is really we've invested a lot in the technology platform, which means that ideally our customers can book a shipment with us. It flows through the whole system and it gets delivered without a physical interaction of any one of our own team. Now, when you look at what is the alternative, is usually for very fast shipments is that you take a courier who brings it personally and transports it. So first of all, we take the cost of the courier out. Secondly, by connecting all the partners in a seamless flow, we are quite competitive towards any other alternative that you would have. But of course, we also have to say that we're significantly more expensive than when you take a regular 2-day courier service.
Okay. Is 3D printing a technology that you're either using or looking at for the near future?
It's an interesting question. When I started Time Matters in 2001, a lot of people asked me, so now email is coming, won't they take all your business away? I thought, interesting question. And from back then, the company has grown more than 14 times. So we're doing about 70 million euros in revenues. And when we were spun off from Lufthansa, that was about 5 million. So yes, email cannibalized documents, but other things came in. New segments developed. And what I see is that general trend, we have a global business, we have faster cycles, we have much more parts, so we have a fragmentation of parts. We see it in the car industry where we used to have a couple of types, now we have a lot of types there. And we see a professionalization of that industry, and that is really developing what we have. So I'm looking at 3D printing. I think it will probably cannibalize certain parts, but I think probably the business will even grow even more.
So do you imagine to have your own kind of 3D printers or to use that as a service as well?
So far we haven't looked into that.
Okay. You're also the chairman of Liefery. Can you tell us a little bit about what they're doing?
Well, it's one of the things that we developed within Time Matters was we looked at the market and we saw that same-day delivery was going into the retail segment. And we thought, well, we are the real experts for same-day delivery and we know how to operate a platform, which means platform basically means we're asset light. We don't like to own cars. We don't like to own hub and spoke systems. We don't want the assets, but rather have a very flexible system and put a lot of effort into service. So we looked at that, we looked at the market, and we thought this is a segment we should go into, and that's how we started Liefery. We separated it quickly because we also realized that Time Matters with a B2B focus and a single shipment focus is a different thing from Liefery, which really goes into our goal is to get deliveries done for less than €3 at a very high scale. So we spun it off, and now we operate Liefery separately, helping retailers or connecting retailers, couriers, and consumers to get anything you order online or offline delivered when you want it.
Okay. So what would be the kind of the target time span within which you want to deliver?
So at Liefery, we start, the quickest delivery we've done was 12 minutes. We offer instant delivery, which says we deliver within 60 minutes. Most of the business at Liefery, however, is same day, which means you order, let's say at noon, or you order by 2 o'clock, and then you say, I know I'm home tonight. I want it delivered between 6 and 7, and I'm going to be home. And the business model there is that we believe, if you look at the big players today, they deliver in the morning between 9 and 12, usually when nobody's home. But that's how they optimize their processes. So what we said is that consumers want the delivery when they're home. And that's what we're doing.
Okay. Now, that probably works well in large cities. What's your plan rolling this out to, say, smaller cities or maybe even rural areas? Is that a possibility or is that not going to be feasible?
I think eventually it will be a possibility, but only with technology. So the business model we're operating today works a little bit like Uber. We're connecting independent couriers, and we have a very dynamic IT system which optimizes tours. So this is very efficient as long as we stay in the city. Key metric for us is to increase the number of drops per hour, and for that you need a high density. Once you go out of the city, that's not possible. You don't have enough people, you don't have enough orders. I think when we come to autonomous vehicles or drones, this is probably where they will be most interesting. For our platform, it wouldn't make a difference whether it's a courier or a drone. We could connect them both to the platform. But that will take a while, I think. But then again, I always say it's no different from when you live in the countryside today. You also don't have a media market around the corner, right? You also probably have to drive 20 to 25 kilometers. And it's really the same with deliveries.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Talking once more about future employees, do you look for IT skills rather than business skills, or a combination thereof? Or what's kind of the ideal kind of background of people joining, for instance, Liefery?
Right. I think we usually, first of all, we look for an open mindset. So we have structured an HR process where we do look for skills, but the key thing we look for is the cultural fit. I think young people starting have to have a general technology understanding. But that said, if it really goes into programming or IT development, that is done by business analysts and developers and engineers. So really the key thing is that you have a good understanding on how can you automate processes, how can you optimize workflows, and that, I think, is often more common sense than a real IT understanding. That's our point of view. And we see people we hire who go into their job and then start thinking, how can I eliminate my job and put it on an IT platform, and then I can do something else, which is probably even more interesting.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.